I am currently filming this while in the middle of month 3 for this whole unretirement as a pro Super Smash Bros. Player for 6-month-long journey. So far, I've seen the most improvement when it comes to month 2. That has basically made me to where I am today. I went to less tournaments, but they were way more stacked, and I definitely feel like I had way more fun this time. So for the month of May, I competed in 12 tournaments, 3 online events, and 4 regionals. It consists of 1 Super Smash Bros. 64 tournament, 3 Super Smash Bros. Brawl tournaments, 1 Super Smash Bros. Wii U tournament, and 8 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournaments, which are subdivided into 6 singles events and 5 doubles events. If this is your first time seeing the channel or of this documentary, I recommend to go see part 1. I'm basically documenting 6 months of being an unretired pro Super Smash Bros. Player and what it takes to compete with the best in the game. Check out part 1 right here or in the description below if it isn't popping up on screen. So without further ado, let's begin with the month of May. It's gonna be May. Starting back home with Noodle Empire of the Wolves, Underground Empire Monthly number 3. This is the biggest surprise so far of the entire marathon because it symbolized a lot of challenges for me that I had to overcome and face from the problems of month number 1. Number 1, I was running the Brawl side bracket. Number 2, I was competing in the singles main bracket. And 3, I was editing and wrapping up releasing part 1's video for this documentary on the same day while getting it out. I needed to remember to find time to eat, and 5, I was pretty exhausted. So as mentioned prior to this tournament, I was already spending 3 days recording, scripting, editing, all of part 1 within this documentary. I didn't really consider how long this actually took because usually my videos are not scripted, I don't document things, right? I just kind of speak and put it out. But I really wanted to capture every single detail in this large doc I've made, documenting this whole journey. I ended up doing all of the video and posted it on the day of this event in the morning. Needless to say, I arrived late and I arrived exhausted. I was about 20 minutes late to the event because part 1's video was rendering, uploading, etc., etc. I was lucky though that this event ended up starting late, so woo! Luck was on my side. Upon arrival at 4:20, I rushed to get all the Brawl setups working as well as the stream for the 7 p.m. Brawl bracket right before Ultimate began at 4:30. There was a player that actually came up to me known as Eddie64. He does a lot of the Montreal and Quebec Vods that are posted on YouTube and is one of the reasons why I'm able to really document all of my sets within this marathon. So go ahead and follow his channel where he's uploading everything. But he ended up coming up to me and asking if I was doing okay because I seemed very stressed. I want to really shout him out because I didn't really realize how exhausted and stressed I was. I was on a very go, 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 go mindset. And when he asked me, I just kind of took a second to force myself to be mindful. And even if it wasn't intentional, it really helped me because I was able to actually feel for a second, wait a minute, I'm not breathing. I'm not just enjoying this very present moment. And I was able to reply to him and just yeah, you know what, I'm good. And I was honest saying, I'm stressed. I just did this. And just that alone, letting it out and being mindful of what was going on changed the entire mood for the rest of the tournament and maybe even the rest of the month. I was soon called for my ultimate matches. And the way I was feeling in terms of being pressured really showed how tired I was in my sets. The first, I think, half of this ultimate bracket, I was playing absolute dog poop, okay? I was a 1-2er Sonic main, all right? I was playing so mindlessly. I felt that I couldn't get any of my basic combos going. I was playing very sluggish, slow, and I was not getting stressed over it, which is a good thing, but I was realizing I'm not into it. So instead of trying to change something that I was in that moment, I ended up just adapting to it. Okay, what is it that might be less stress on me? How can I play the game and enjoy just kind of going with the flow? And it worked. I played a very mindless online Sonic play style, and at the same time, I got to work on being patient, since that has been our biggest note to take so far. standing still in place. If I didn't want to play the game or not have the energy to play the game, I might as well just do that right now. I stood there, I waited for openings, and was able to secure myself into the top 16. It was a little bit harder, though, when I had to fight Vossi, a very aggressive Captain Falcon, which also versus Sonic is an aggressive matchup. But you have to play very patient mentally, where both of you, if you swing, you're going to miss and you're going to get capitalized on big time. Vazzy and I were swinging. I was starting to make really predictable habits because of the way I was feeling and playing. Luckily, I did pull through because I caught, first and foremost, thanks to my years of experience, a lot of habits he had, which really focused on his jumping in neutral. I really want to focus on my winner semis match versus Bonan next, the up-and-coming Peach here in Quebec. If you've ever studied Smash in Quebec, Montreal history, you know that we ain't ever have a goddamn good Peach before, all right? Nobody here knows the matchup. A Peach can come here and screw us all up, and they will do it flawlessly. Bonan has been quickly increasing his results, taking out many PR players as of late. We bonded at the first monthly due to our love for Life is Strange 2, one of my favorite games of all time. You should probably go play it. He's like the biggest Daniel fan I've ever seen, and even had like the whole sweater and fit and even the in-game tag going on. So go play Life is Strange 2 if you haven't. You'll thank me later and let me know in the comments what you think about that game. Back on topic, Bonan me up. Even with my patient playstyle, I still wasn't playing good, and he was able to capitalize on that really, really quick. It was also an hour-long set, Sonic versus Peach. It's gonna be a slugfest in terms of patience, and he was able to just be way more patient than I was. It was an amazing set, but he really worn me out and put me out of shape and took advantage of how exhausted I was. I was even gonna time him out at the very last match, but he ended up calling out a huge habit that I was building during that set to win a very sneaky up smash that costed me the entire game. It is now 7 p.m. and unfortunately I couldn't start Brawl because all of a sudden I was in top 8 of Ultimate. And not only did I make top 8 Ultimate, but I suddenly went on this rampage of a comeback, which hasn't happened yet in the Noodle Underground Empire series. All the brackets were caught up, so I needed to play back to back to back to back, which isn't usually a problem because I'm usually out around 7th to 5th in this tournament. But I think something happened when I played Bonan and really kind of woke me up and put me back in shape. I got really hungry, and that 1 hour grind session within that set alone with him kind of put me back to where I needed to be, and I really wanted to win. After tearing through the losers bracket, I had to fight Dario LMM, which ended up being the closest Game 5 sets we've ever had. And I'm so sad because I didn't record the set. It wasn't on stream. And we were like, I would two-stock him Game 1, then he would two-stock me Game 2, and then follow up, and then Game 5 would happen. And I think I was only able to pull through because I changed my playstyle all of a sudden from being the very patient play in the beginning of the set that I had from Bonan to an aggressive Sonic. It opened up and I just wouldn't let him breathe. And I was able to just kind of demolish him the final game. And this only prepared me for the rest of the bracket. I stampeded through Elote, who actually was forced to switch to Lucina, his secondary, which I've never played before. I suddenly was just playing on point, and I think the most on point I've ever played, period. The follow-ups I were doing were not only the bread and butter, but extended based on my opponent's positioning and reaction to every little hit that I had. I was always one step ahead, and I knew then, oh, we're so back. And that only gave me enough momentum for Grand Finals. It took another hour, but man, was it worth it. What started out as a very strong opening from me slowly had Bonan kind of adapting as the set was going on, and this big high of adrenaline I was on was starting to go down a little bit. But this time, the difference was I was playing really well. So every time he was adapting, I was adapting. I ended up taking a set in Grand 3-1, bracket resetting, which boosted my confidence from the crowd as well, but it also put down the confidence and I think just the reassurance Bonan had going into the second set. In the second set, I did even better. It was looking like it was going to be a 6-0, but he did grab that game at the end. But it was no match for how I kept adapting. I just played so much faster. I was calling out when he would jump, when he would have his back towards me. And at the same time, I was learning the Peach matchup. I started really discovering Peach's disadvantage state, when I can go in, how I shouldn't be on her back. I should really stay in the front and make her do something there. How to corner her and force options. So I was calling out everything Peach had wrong and was able to secure the win. I ended up winning this regional. I was really happy. Of course, the top players in Quebec weren't there this time, but it just felt really good to be that kind of gatekeeper of what would have happened if all the other top players in Quebec were there. It felt really, really good, and the night wasn't done. Unfortunately, around 9 p.m., Brawl was finally starting. And I didn't expect this, right? And if it does ever happen again, I want to be prepared and make sure the Brawl people play on time and that we don't delay bracket. So I've decided from this point forward, I won't be competing in the singles tournament of Underground Empire monthlies unless I have help hosting Brawl. Luckily, it is a side event. No one had to pay. It was just this very for fun, get away from the competition kind of experience. Half of the players did DQ. On the bright side, we were able to run the bracket within 2 to 3 hours. There is one set I want to bring up in Brawl, which was Nightfall, because he gave me a hard time this time. Usually I'm able to do a 3-0 victory with Sonic, 2-stock, no problem at all. But he's been getting better every single time we play, to the point where I had to switch up to Kirby because of that game so confidently he took off of my Sonic. We know Sonic Olimar is a horrible matchup in Brawl, and Kirby as well, but I wanted to change up the pace and see if he knew the Kirby matchup. He didn't, and that's how I was able to secure Brawl singles and Ultimate singles. 2 for 2, baby, at Noodle Empire's Underground Monthly number 2. And can you believe that I wasn't even done? I was on this big adrenaline high, so I had to pack. It was midnight, get home, get all the setups, and I had to be awake in 6 hours because there was a regional that I was going to out of town. Am I crazy? Absolutely. I had to get up again at 6 for the regional that was happening in Trois-Rivières, which, yes, it is French. And surprise, so is the tournament name. Festival Joueur, UQTR, is basically held at a university in Trois-Rivières. It's about a 2-hour drive away from Montreal. I woke up absolutely exhausted. It felt like I had some kind of hangover or something. I was just like, how am I going to do this? But I was also motivated. I was able to put it on the side because I was still on like a little rush from the night before. It was such a motivational push, and I was just feeling really inspired. I wanted to play, and that's different compared to I want to win. You see the difference? I was hungry. I wanted more Smash Brothers. I also wanted breakfast. I didn't eat the night before after everything. This was also a trip I wasn't going to be in the car for alone. I ended up picking up Bowser TNT, longtime tamer and friend, on the way since he lives about 45 minutes away from my place. One of the best incinerators in Canada who I ended up teaming as well for the event. My brother Soar, meanwhile, was at a Pokemon regional. So I was like, yo, what's up, Bowser? Let's play. We arrived about 30 minutes early, and thank God we did, because guys, this venue was like the most confusing venue to maneuver around. There were signs everywhere and multiple entrances since it was a university campus. We were just looking for the consoles area and where to check in, where to get our badges. It was a convention, so there was a lot of things to do. The signs outside pointing to where we needed to go were pointed the wrong way. I'm not sure if people were trolling or if people just didn't make the signs properly, but it was really bad. Us and multiple families and attendees were actually even trying to find the main doors for the console area together. We ended up at like the school's clinic. Eventually, after walking around for like 15 minutes, we found the right sign that pointed towards a bunch of people in the front. We said, oh my God, that looks promising. But man, it was something. We got our wristbands and entered the console room. Guys, this could have been my second home. It had every retro game console, games, that I collect for and that were on display and ready to play for the public, like Sonic 2, there was a Sega Saturn with Outrun, Kirby Air Ride on GameCube, and of course, Super Smash Bros. On the Wii. There was even Guitar Hero. The air conditioner was perfect, and the stage was cute and so inviting while we were surrounded by gaming goodness, so the vibes were immaculate. In doubles, Bowser and I had an absolute blast. Whenever we weren't playing, we were farming the Brawl emissary mode, and when we were playing, we were just kind of like in training mode. We were coming up with setups, combo possibilities, and we communicated the entire time, which just makes it so easy to team with somebody. It really fell into our play and just had us be just a natural team with really great synergy. It especially came into help for the grand finals. A team that consisted of the best DDD in Quebec, Tarla, or Tarla in French. Arsenic, also being teaming with him, is double DDD. They posed quite a problem for the entire bracket and upsetted set after set after set after set. They came out of nowhere, destroyed everyone, and showed me just how strong double DDD is. It wasn't even close seeing the competition play these guys, and that includes us. We got absolutely bodied in that first set of grand finals. We were actually left in complete awe and didn't really know what to do. It was the first time that I saw Bowser look absolutely helpless and was considering quitting. Now, Bowser TNT was my student back when I did do Metafy coaching. His biggest flaw always came down to his mentality, and in a way, same. With my ADHD, his autism, we were being overstimulated by flying Gordos every way imaginable. And it was slowly creating a very angry Bowser TNT and a very flustered SuperGirlKels. He began yelling during sets about how frustrated he was and that he can't do this anymore and he wouldn't do it. And I realized, you know what? It's time for a pep talk. Once the bracket reset and they won 3-0, we were able to have a 2-minute break. And we talked as if it was a good old coaching session. I made him list to me his feelings. What exactly and specifically was causing this? And asked him for moments that were actually positive in the sets. What actually went well for us? He then told me how he was handling Arsenic DDDs much easier and wished it was a one-on-one because he knew the plan versus DDD. And I said, okay, let's pretend for a second that Tala doesn't exist. What's the plan versus DDD? So he listed me the basic ideas about countering against DDD. 1, wait for all jumps, count, DDD will land with an aggressive option or inhale, so keeps the space and respond accordingly. Call out DDD's disadvantage state, and we went over DDD's game plan in neutral. So once we talked about it and it was done, Bowser took a little walk to get some water while I also refreshed myself. He came back as like a brand new person and was suddenly motivated. And that made me feel invited and more motivated as well. Needless to say, it was a completely different set. We 3-0'd them in just a matter of minutes, and it's as if nothing happened in the previous set. We won the entire doubles tournament, and I was beyond proud of Bowser TNT and myself, our adaptation during grand finals, the way we were able to speak, but also find a plan out of a helpless situation. It's genuinely one of the greatest double sets I've ever had with a teammate, and that alone is something I'm just never going to forget. In singles, I carried out the momentum I had from doubles and from the previous night. I played smooth, confident, and was just on point. I stormed through my pool and the bracket without dropping a single game, including a Steve who apparently has been wanting to fight me for years, and I was able to remind him that my brother is sore and take him down. Once again, I was up against Jur. You guys know him by now, so I don't need to recap, and guess what? It was another Game 5 set. I really believe that Jur is only losing to me due to the current stage meta. It benefits Sonic more than this matchup, and I'm able to use the platforms against them every single time, and I think he just loses stamina against Sonic, and from the experience I have for over a decade. He'll get it. One day it'll happen, and we're going to document it. Maybe it'll be during the 6 months, but we're also improving, so maybe not. Now let's get to the big set, Taraxis. We got to play in winners finals and grand finals. Yes, I went through the entire brackets. I remember back at Noodle Empire's monthly 1 where he gave me really good tips. And even though in this set I lose 6-0, it didn't look like that. If you look back at the matches, it was neck to neck, and even times where he pops out of his seat and is quite on his toes. It was very last hit, last stock, every game, almost. I was just struggling so hard to get the kill, which now after we spoke, maybe I didn't need to get the kill and just kind of run it and wait for him to swing and just wait. And that's the patience I need to keep on practicing. Taraxis gave me a good handshake at the end of our sets and let me know that I improved a lot compared to the last month, which was everything to me. So even though I got second, I really felt like a winner. And the tournament ended early, guys, like 7 p.m. because it was a convention. We needed to be out of there. I was able to drive home in like beautiful daylight. Me and Bowser stopped for pizza, and we got to watch my girlfriend at her championship finals for school since she was in collegiate. They ended up winning. I just had such a proud girlfriend moment. I got home like at 10 p.m. and crashed out immediately, even if it was a bit early. I was exhausted, and I think I earned myself a nice long rest. That basically brings us now to the online tournaments. For the next 2 weeks, I had no big event planned, which was fine because I got to work on Kiwi and our doubles for Gommel, and I got to look at some other games that I wanted to play. For the next 2 Thursdays, we continued to train and get higher in the brackets for Howling at the Moon 8:15 and 8:22. We currently have a demon in the bracket, I think, which consists of a Yoshi and a Sonic. Kai and Ant. So they are longtime players since the Brawl days. So I've known them forever. The problem comes with Yoshi versus the pack matchup, and then Sonic trying to get in on Yoshi, but with his hitboxes safely, while Sonic backs up Yoshi because Sonic's a great backup partner, makes things really, really hard. And getting kills on the dinosaur is very, very rough. There were times where it looked like we had it in the bag. Like, it was our game. We were 2 stocks ahead or so, but we would just lose. Yoshi would take early stocks, and then we couldn't get our kill setups because of Sonic being the way or such. We're getting closer every single time and started even taking some games, but we definitely need to keep working on it. We have now not competed together in doubles since then, and that was early mid-May. So we're due, and we're actually back at it as I'm recording this tonight. So hopefully we can really get back to shape and take down those demons and find the right plan, as well as rebuttaling against them once and for all. Now we get to talk about a Super Smash Bros. 64 tournament event, Whammy Wednesday number 9, that I was invited to on stream. Thank you to your lovely comments. Because of you, I was able to find this tournament for Smash 64. We've been looking for a Smash 64 tournament for a very long time, but the community is so niche and small that there aren't any tournaments, or at least not much, on Smash GG. Gotta use Challenge. But until now, there was finally one. I had no idea what to expect. I haven't played 64 since 2016, when I would grind the online ladder when the netplay first came out for it. I even competed in EGLX 2016 Smash 64 and got 4th for it. I definitely got a wake-up call, though, on how much I missed over the past 10 years or so. The meta has completely evolved to the point where, unfortunately, it was so uninviting for new players to play. Once you are hit, you're just kind of getting hit. Smash 64 has no DI, no teching. When you're hit, you just kind of take it. And that's where that whole saying comes of just don't get hit, right? That's what that whole saying is from. I am proud that we did end up taking 1 set on stream, so hippie-ki-yay. And even though it is uninviting, I'm very competitive and love to learn when it comes to Smash, so I'd like to try again at some point for sure. I need to spend, though, the time to learn 64, as when someone gets hit, they should be dead, because I seem to get the first hit often, and it's just how to capitalize that accordingly. My priority, of course, does come down to Ultimate, Brawl, and Smash 4 being released. So I don't know when in the cards I'll be able to play again soon on 64, but I'll always be keeping my eye open. So after a great 2-week rest, it was time for the most challenging tournament of the entire marathon yet. Montreal Gaming Center's Elite Monthly Series, XVIII, or 16, 17, 18. I think I did it right. TOZ took my request to host a Super Smash Bros. Brawl tournament when I went to one of the events last month. It was a side event for the very first time. We had absolute goated legends from the Brawl days come out to play this time, making it the biggest Brawl bracket yet in Montreal as of the past decade. Tarex, one of the greatest Yoshis, Queen Kong, now known as Kimara, Nightfall, and even my brother Soar came out to play. I, of course, was running the event while also competing in singles and doubles. This is the first time I got to play with my brother Soar again in over a year, and I was just so happy to do so. At 1 p.m., doubles began. My brother and I's synergy returned as if it never left. We absolutely decimated our opponent up until the grand finals where Smock and Z came back from the dead to take us on. At first, I can really see that I was not nearly as good as I was back in the day, with Z and Smock overwhelming me. I felt like I was falling behind and was always the player with the least amount of stocks. I was discouraged and felt like I wanted to really play well for my brother and show that I could still be a great teammate for him since we never play. When we were down 2-1, Jay took a second to really speak to me, kind of the way Bowser TNT did. He talked about a game plan and gave me a good confidence boost. And he actually focused on where I'm doing really well and to do more of and just do less of this because I'm being punished for this. He was calling it out and just normalizing everything. He reassured that I was actually playing very well, but was just making overextended moments that I just didn't need to. It worked. All of a sudden, I was a god and was playing better than ever. And I had insane setups that were taking early stocks, and even Z at a point stopped the game to look at me and say, okay? It made me believe in myself again, and it gave me the push I needed to win the doubles tournament with my brother. I really miss teaming with him, as he'll forever be my first and only static. And I'm excited for the next opportunity to team with him, again whenever Vic isn't available or Onin. I'll always be his player too when he needs me. And as for singles, I mean, I'm gonna be blunt, I crashed out. I did not want to play Ultimate today. After the 2 weeks off and playing other games, I played singles and was genuinely really bored and I couldn't get into it. I was running Brawl at this point already at the same time, and I spent the entire day playing Brawl friendlies with these old legends that I never get to see and play with. And I was having so much fun doing that when I compared it going back to Ultimate, I was really not having fun. It was also the hottest day in Montreal this year so far at that point, and the venue had no air conditioning. It was stacked. I was hot and did not want to be anywhere near anybody there. I was very make it end. The only time where I had space was when I was against Venom on stream and there was a fan, which was a great set. It was game 5 and he even pulled out the Ridley because that's our once a year test against me, and I ended up bringing back 2 stock reverse when I was going to lose, and so I'm really proud of that and the way I played there. But he did ultimately win because of my lack of patience, even when it looked like I really was going to win that game 5 in the beginning when I took the first stock so early. I really just wasn't in it. I played for the crowd that set. It felt great that everyone was so hyped, but afterwards I just was pretty ready to focus only on Brawl. I would go to my loser set and ended up winning, but the entire games, I kept looking back to make sure Brawl was running okay, if the stream was okay, if the bracket was proceeding, because I didn't want to have the same situation happen as, of course, the Noodle Empire monthlies. So I was basically mentally checked out, and I know that I could have handled it better, but with the heat, I wasn't eating again, and finally my dinner came 5 minutes later, by the way. I just wasn't in the mood. And you can't change something and someone's feelings about something they don't want to do. So I had to play a zero suit Samus, something I don't like doing. And then even worse, I had to play Samus. And I felt really bad because the entire set, I was mentally checked out. I didn't give him the match I wish I could have given him. I was exhausted. It was 9 p.m. at this point. It's hot. I didn't eat yet. And with all the Johns, whatever, I didn't want to play with Samus, Sonic versus Samus, him shooting stuff and I'm just running into it because I want to be aggressive. I don't know how Z does it, hosting and playing, but yeah, I was ready to DQ, and you can tell in the way I played. I didn't even film it because I literally just wasn't playing, and I felt really bad because I had 2 times during the set. Luckily, he was playing very forward, so I don't think he saw it. I hope he didn't because it's so rude. I felt so bad. But he was forward leaning, really into the game, and I was very back, right? And as I'm playing, I felt the biggest yawn coming out. And oh my God, I had to suppress it, guys. I was there and I felt so bad. I felt like an asshole, dude. Like, anyway, he kicked my ass as I deserve. I deserve it completely. And he played so good. He was on point. It was the first time actually in a while that I was like, I don't know what to do, nor do I care what to do. So he took the set, gave him the fist. I said, oh my God, I get to go back to Brawl now. Yes, so I was able to finally get back the mindset and have some fun. While running Brawl, I was able to eat on the side, and everything was finally coming back into play. And this was the hardest Brawl bracket ever, by the way. Like, my round 1 was a last hit situation. It was people who played Brawl way back in the day, even if they weren't pros. I had a nail-biting set 1, and then later on, versus my own brother, game 3 last hit, I was shaking, and I have a very bad mentality against my brother at that point still. So stay tuned for chapter 3. So it just felt like hard. And then finally versus Tyrex, one of the best Yoshis, we ended up going to game 5, both in winners and in grand finals. At first, I started very confidently taking wins, like I was 2-stocking or so. But then Tyrex was adapting really, really well to where I was like, hey, I'm gonna lose this. Until I didn't. I was learning a lot about Yoshi at the same time, and even though he was learning quicker, I was learning what was very important that worked, and I utilized against him. My steam was running out, but I did hold my own. I took first place, and it felt great winning this tournament during Brawl's comeback season, and Tyrex and I just smiled and had a great time the entire set, while also being very serious. While on the way home at 1 a.m., my brother Vic and I ended up going for food. We were starving. And they were satisfied and such, but all of a sudden it hit me about Ultimate, what actually happened, not even cracking the top 10. And I realized that was the lowest I ever performed. And it hit me all of a sudden that I was like, no, I wanted to care. I wanted to do well. And it made me motivated. I definitely wasn't satisfied, but in a really good, healthy way. I want to earn that top 10 spot and go back to this tournament and challenge the Samus again to give him a respected set, but also to just do better. I think I can really do better, and I need to have that mentality for it. During the next week, it was my 30th birthday, and I'm so old. Thanks for reminding me. I had an excellent time to celebrate with friends and family and forget about Smash for a sec, but I really wanted to celebrate with you guys. It was also marking 15 years of doing content, so I decided to host a birthday party 3-day tournament that kind of had every game that we've ever competed in together. I hosted, commentated, streamed, and managed the event for 3 days with over 12 hours of content with the help of some mods. I stacked myself up with 2 days worth of pizza in the fridge. I can make sure to eat while hydrating. Not the best diet, but it's my birthday, so I could do what I want, and I want to have pizza for my birthday because it's my favorite food. Friday was easy since it was a short 2-hour Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform tournament. It basically ran itself. The real competition was the second day, containing Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Super Smash Bros. Wii U. Start up with Wii U. As I mentioned last month, Pretendo launched back up the Wii U game servers on their own, so it's been nice to play the game that basically launched my career. I wanted to do a tournament to celebrate this revival, and there was quite a turnout in both viewership and attendance. There were some really active Smash 4 pros who were grinding since the servers came back up, so I didn't expect too much from myself in performance while running everything, and didn't seed myself even for top 3. I ended up winning the entire tournament and only dropping 1 game. I had a blast remembering cross-ups, Sonic's incredible back throw, the return to Spring Ride kills off the top, my baby, and up airs in general. I just missed up airs so much. But no amount of viewership and hype can compare to Super Smash Bros. Brawl later that evening. Somehow, someway, I kid you not, the top 10, top 5, top 20 players in the Brawl scene currently, including the best player in the world, Cody, joined my little birthday party tournament. I got raided, essentially. Needless to say, I did not get top 8, but I did have a nail-biting set with Mike Ray. I didn't take a game, but it was last hit, last stock every game, and it felt like it was very doable. He was top 5 in the world, so hey, I'm still learning this game. I then lost to a Meta Knight in Losers, losing to the jank Delfino Plaza transition. It sucked. That's legal in SmashCon now, but now I have a note to not let it be played when I fight Meta Knights. It's honestly probably best that I lost, because I got to commentate the most legendary battles that I haven't seen since SmashCon 2023. My voice, though, was beginning to be shot. I casted 6 hours for Smash Wii U and now was doing Brawl in the most hype way possible, and I was a solo caster. But I still enjoyed such amazing play that I didn't even know was possible in Brawl. It was an honor to watch, commentate the most passionate and just legendary players that I was just so grateful that they were in my little tournament, especially that there was no prize or anything like that. It just came from people loving Brawl and wanting to play against each other. But there was like a literal major happening in my little tournament, so much so that it made it onto the Smash wiki page of Brawl rankings. So it's going to count for their actual rankings, which is insane. I'm glad I was able to help. I learned so much, including there was 2 of the best Sonics in the world in Brawl in the tournament, and I learned some new setups as well. We've also been in contact, so shoutouts to Frisk. I'm checking out his stuff and been learning a lot from him. That basically marks month number 2. And there was a lot of development in my mentality, but also my just performance, my patience is definitely starting to get there, but I have a long way to go within the next 4 months. One thing I do want to add to the goals, though, is to really work on just my focus. What is the focus of each tournament? When I walk in, what is the goal for today? So that I don't lose that touch whenever I do have to multitask or run events or such. What can I actually focus on? What is worth doing and such for me and for this marathon?